All righty. Are we live? Are we live? Let's give it a second to kick in here. Let's see. It should be going. It should be going. Got my computer in front of me. All right. There we go. There we go. Looking good. Looking good. All right. We'll let people roll in here. Obviously, the topic tonight is Jeffrey Epstein. Rumors, claims about the Mossad. Was he a Mossad agent? Was Jeffrey Epstein working for foreign intelligence? Are these claims credible? Are these claims complete BS? Is it somewhere in the middle? We will get into all of that and much more. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys as we let people roll in here. I know the first time I did this, one of the criticisms, or I should say feedback I got, was that I got into it way too quick and people that didn't jump in right away missed it. But I want you guys to let me know in the comments before we even get started, really, whether or not you think Jeffrey Epstein was an agent of a foreign country. Do you think he was working for Israel? Do you think he was working for the U.S.? Do you think he was working for the Brits, the French, the Saudis? Whoever you think he was working for, I want to see it in the comments. I want to see if you guys are on the same wavelength that I am. And this is going to be a pretty in-depth show. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's going to be a pretty in-depth show. I've got it broken up into blocks. We'll do the same thing we did last time, due to how much information there is. If you have a theory you want to throw out, I might have to just stick to super chats tonight because we have a ton of stuff to go through. And I want to make sure that absolutely nobody misses a single thing. Let me go ahead over here and mute. Don't screw anything up, if you will. Give me a second. People are still rolling in. I spent a decent amount of time today looking into this, looking into different subjects, looking into getting notes, video clips, different stories, people with different versions, all of that stuff. So we will see where the evidence leads us. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you you need to believe my theory. I'm not telling you need to believe some other theory. The goal of tonight is to lay out the evidence, lay out the claims, lay out the different arguments, and then you guys can look at all that information. You can look at all that evidence, and you guys can come to your own conclusions about what you think and who Jeffrey Epstein was. I'm also going to be quite honest with you. There's probably a really good chance YouTube ends up taking this video down. It is almost a certainty YouTube will end up taking this video down. It's just the way it is. I don't know that. I hope that's not true. I hope YouTube does not take the video down, but something tells me, judging by what we're talking about tonight, YouTube will be taking down this video about Jeffrey Epstein. Again, I hope that is not the case. I will have to watch some of what I say just due to the rules on YouTube, comments, stuff like that. So please keep it clean in the comments. Please. I'm doing my best to keep it clean here so that the video does not get taken down. We're pretty much going to, the format of the show is we'll go through some quick background. We'll go through some claims about the files disaster, the disaster that we've all witnessed now with the files. We'll go through some arguments people have made, such as Tucker Carlson, Scott Horton. We'll go through some claims other people have made. My buddy, Jamie Weinstein, he had some tweets that I really liked that I'm going to show. We're going to talk about what his lawyers said. We're going to talk about why Israel using Epstein might not make a lot of sense. And then we're going to talk about if Israel has a history of spies in the U.S. Later in the show, we also got a big JFK bombshell, huge JFK bombshell. We'll talk about Trump escalating in Ukraine. We'll talk about Sean Ryan's Gavin Newsom interview, Trump, AC, and Jasmine Crockett. And then I'll update you all on the Tim Kennedy investigation. Rob O'Neill tweets. And then I got into a crazy situation at Safeway today. Got into it with some armed security. I can't wait to talk about that with all of you. Yes, I was in a Safeway today and got into an incident with 2 armed security guards. It was wild. I have theories about why they chose to single me out, and we'll get into all of that much more. All right, I think we've gone on long enough. Please get your super chats in. That's what I'll be able to watch to see comments come through, because there is going to be so much stuff here that we're I'm just not going to be able to pay attention to everything. This is going to be lengthy. I tried to pack in as much evidence as I can. All right, let's get rolling now. So let's start with, who was Jeffrey Epstein? Well, actually, you know what? Let's start this way. There's going to be people who watch this. I know this is going to happen. There's going to be people who watch this and they're going to say, if you question Israel or if you question Jeffrey Epstein, you must hate Jewish people. You must hate Israel. That's anti-Semitism. You can't do that. I want to make something crystal clear for everyone right now. And I want everyone to pay attention and I want everyone to listen. Criticizing Israel, criticizing the Israeli government is in no way a wrong or bad thing to do. Just like it's no way wrong or bad to criticize the American government. Criticizing Israel doesn't make you anti-Semitic. Criticizing Israel does not mean that you hate Jewish people at all. There's a lot of people in Israel that do not like Netanyahu's government. We are Americans. We have a First Amendment right to speech. We in this country can criticize anyone we want for any reason we want, whenever we want. You should have facts. You should have solid opinions. You should have well-researched takes. It is not anti-Semitic to criticize Israel at all. It is not anti-Semitic to criticize the policies of the Israeli government at all. If we're allowed to criticize our own government, we damn sure are allowed to criticize a foreign government that takes billions and billions and billions in aid from the United States. So we need to understand that. And in this conversation, it certainly feels like people have gotten to a point, quite frankly, the older boomers, that if you criticize Israel, you must just hate them all. Not true. You can criticize Poland. You can criticize Saudi Arabia. You can criticize Israel. You can criticize our own government, certainly. Yeah, if we can criticize our own government, but we can't criticize Israel's, like, what world are we living in? We have free speech here. Do what you want. That's the way it is. So you're going to hear some things tonight that are probably going to piss people off. I don't care. Let me be very clear about that. I do not care. I don't care if what I say here tonight gets people upset. That's just the fact of the matter. Now that we have that out of the way and we've established that criticizing a foreign government in no way, shape, or form means you hate a certain group of people, let's proceed. So who was Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein was this seemingly nobody who fell into buckets and buckets and buckets of money through relationships no one seems to be able to verify. He had no real super high level education. He had no real, for a long time, connections. And yet out of nowhere, he rises up among the global elites, the United States elites, and gets close with a lot of people. What is this? Okay, I don't know. We've already got idiots. You're gone. You're deleted. You're banned forever. This is what I'm talking about. He's banned. Don't worry. He's banned. I got him out of here. This is what I'm talking about. You guys are doing a nice job of pointing out idiots. When I see them, I will ban them. These people are absolute clowns and will be treated as such. So Jeffrey Epstein is this guy with no real talents, no real skills, and all of a sudden, he's rubbing elbows with the most powerful people in the world. No one can explain that. We're now in 2025. He died 6 years ago, and nobody can explain how Jeffrey Epstein, a man of no high qualities, no high skills, no significant superior education, just magically embeds himself in a high society, an elite society. That in and of itself is pretty interesting. Then along the way, Jeffrey Epstein starts conducting and committing heinous and horrific crimes. We all know what those crimes are. Those crimes cannot even be mentioned here on YouTube. Otherwise, the video will come down. He, of course, his little sidekick, Ghislaine Maxwell, was right there with him. And she is currently doing 20 years in prison. This is what we know about Jeffrey Epstein. We know he had his little Epstein Island. We know he had his plane. We know a lot of powerful people were close with him. We can't really explain why so many powerful people were close with him. No one's ever been able to answer that. That's a question that is seemingly the one thing the media is not interested in getting to the bottom to. That and the Trump assassination attempts. Those two topics, the media has absolutely no interest in whatsoever. Very odd. let's also, let's keep that in mind. So that's who Jeffrey Epstein is. He's this monster who's committing all these crimes. He's got his sidekick, Ghislaine Maxwell. And we know that he somehow falls into a fortune, possibly billions, certainly several $100 million. This is who Jeffrey Epstein was. And we're going to peel back the layers of that tonight as we answer the question, the theory that has been put out there, was Jeffrey Epstein a Mossad agent? I'll be very curious to hear your thoughts. Make sure you get your super chats in along the way if you have a theory or a question, and I will answer them. So that's the baseline of who Jeffrey Epstein is. Then we have the files disaster. We have a big black eye for the Trump administration. I voted for Trump. I've been open about that. I don't hide from that. I voted for Trump. I think Trump was a clear, better option than Kamala Harris. I don't think there's any question about that. I think that is obvious to anyone with an ounce of intelligence. Trump was the better option. Trump and the people around him, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, and others, hyped up this idea that they had the Epstein files and they had all this evidence and they had all this proof that Jeffrey Epstein was committing and doing these terrible things. And they had a list and they had all this stuff. And in the spirit of disclosure, they were going to share that list with the American public. We were going to get to the bottom of what was going on. We were going to get to the bottom of that. That was the promise that was made to us. You don't have to take my word for it, because I have compiled video evidence tonight that I will show you all, and I'm sure many of you have already seen it, that will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that these people sold us a bill of goods on the Epstein list. They had the stunt at the White House, They had the stunt at the White House where they had all these influencers come. All these influencers for the Epstein files. I knew one guy who was there. I actually liked the guy a lot. He created a great company. I don't think he actually thought he was going there for that. And I'm not blaming them. So you have this terrible rollout. And along the way, we have, let me go ahead and throw this up on the screen. This is an interesting piece of evidence. I would like someone to answer for. This is a piece of evidence that kind of gets lost in this situation with Epstein. Why would we be protecting? When I say we, I mean the United States government. Obviously, I'm not protecting it. If I had the list, I would post the whole list right here, right now, for everyone to read. But what if there were secrets in the list that would threaten national security? What if the list had information about other nations that, if it became public, would be damaging for those countries' relations with the U.S. and public perception? What if that was a possibility? Well, it turns out we don't even have to wonder that. Let me go ahead and throw this up on the screen for everybody. This is our Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who should be fired. See, I told you guys we're going to hear some things you might not love. There might be some people here who love Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi told us time and time again there was proof of a list. And she floated this theory that there were all this important information, and then lays an egg. Doesn't do anything. But let's watch this. Watch what Pam Bondi says here about national security secrets possibly being included in the Epstein files. This is an interview from 4 months ago, it says. Sean Hannity, Fox News. Let's watch it.
In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to people. What are the other things that maybe you would have to redact?
Well,
national security?
No, of course, national security, some grand jury information, which is always going to be confidential, but we'll see. Let's look through them as fast as we can, get it out to the American people, because the American.
Okay. So let's go ahead and rewind that for a second.
Oh, of course, national security.
Things redacted. In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to people. What are the other things that maybe you would have to redact?
Well,
national security?
No, of course, national security, some grand jury information, which is always going to be confidential, but we'll see. Let's look through them as fast as we can, get it out to the American people.
So she says, let's look through them as fast as we can, get them out to the American people. That never happened. We all know that happened. They just released a document, a statement saying, oh, no one else will be charged. Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, just by themselves, had, what was it? Hundreds, maybe thousands of victims. And she's saying, we'll get it out there to the American people. We'll let them see what's going on. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But more importantly, what national security secrets could a man who was a predator towards children, what national security secrets could possibly have been in those files? Do you know your local scumbag to have national security secrets? I certainly don't. What could Jeffrey Epstein have possibly have known that could have endangered national security? That's a serious question. It's almost like this comment from Pam Bondi has been completely forgotten. It's almost like this never happened. She gets asked point blank if there's national security stuff that would, and if it would have to be redacted. She doesn't even hesitate to say yes, and then doesn't whatsoever explain what could be in there. Why would Jeffrey Epstein know any national security secrets? He was never in the United States government. He was never elected to office. He held no official positions of any kind, but he rubbed elbows with a lot of very powerful people. So what could be in those files that would endanger national security? That's a great question that nobody seems to be able to answer. And it goes back to the point, this is where theories start. People hear national security and they immediately think it's tied to the US government or it's tied to foreign governments. That's the way it works. And when you conceal information, conspiracy theories grow. Again, nature of the business. But don't worry, this isn't the only Pam Bondi banger we have. Let's go ahead and watch this one.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
All right, let's
The list
rewind.
of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive.
Pam, if it's sitting on your desk to review, why didn't we ever get it? Because now they're saying, if you remember the statement, there was no list. The list didn't exist. It was a conspiracy theory. It was something that we made up in our imagination. This woman's got to go. This woman has got to go. Because either she's lying or she knew there was no list. She knew there was no actual deep conspiracy. And instead of coming out and saying that, she chose to whip people up into a frenzy because it was good for her brand, possibly, and then deals us absolutely nothing in terms of cards to play. Pam Bondi, she needs to answer for this. Pam Bondi cannot be allowed to have laid these bread crumbs and then just not do it at all. Just not at all show us what was on her list. So I've got another clip here because I'm going to be fair and honest with you guys. I'm not going to protect Trump. I'm not going to protect Pam Bondi. I'm not going to protect anybody. If you made claims, now let's listen to this one from Trump. Let me get this up on the screen for you. Trump downplays it completely. We got a couple clips of that. Let me make sure this is good to go. And I'm not, always got to be careful when you're throwing the screen up there. You want to make sure you got the right thing. All right. This is Trump downplaying it. Here we go.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the stabbing?
Yeah, sure. If I
Pam,
could,
could I just interrupt for
Sure.
a second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
So that right there was Trump. If you guys got your theories, please send them in the chat. Send me your theories. Why do you think the narrative has gone the way it has with this quick spin that just we're supposed to forget it now? We're just supposed to forget the Epstein thing ever happened. We're supposed to forget all the claims that Trump people's made. Trump's downplaying it, but that's not the only time he downplayed it. Let's watch this real quick. Should be up on the screen.
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What? On the
DOJ and FBI
on what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein. Okay. On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
So now Trump is saying, Comey's responsible, Obama's responsible, Biden's responsible. But I thought, according to the government, there was no list and no evidence. So what did they make up? What did the previous administration seemingly make up? It's not even consistent. The story doesn't even stay linear. It doesn't even stay in a straight line. The story they're spinning now is jumping all over the place. And it's utterly ridiculous that anyone would be expected to believe the nonsense we're being handed now. Right? I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. It's complete and utter BS. And I'm not going to stand for it. So this is the background. This is the setup. This is how we got here. And before we get into now the Mossad part, was he Mossad? Was he not Mossad? Which, I'm not going to hold back. My job here is to give you guys the evidence. You guys go ahead and look at that evidence the best you can, make your own determinations. So we've seen so far in this video, you have seen Pam Bondi, 2 different videos, imply that things would have to be kept secret because of national security. You saw that. And then you saw Pam Bondi claim that the list was on her desk. Then you saw Trump not wanting to talk about it. Then you saw Trump blaming other people. Okay, so if they made up evidence, show us the made up evidence. Let us know what was fabricated. Let us see it. Let us make a determination. All right, before we get into the next clip, I do have a super chat right here. Robert, I don't know how to pronounce that middle name. Tyranny, $1.99. Thanks, David. Great content. Also, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. I forgot to do that at the beginning. You can also follow me on Instagram. David, you can see it right on the screen. David_Hookstead. X is D Hookstead. So feel free to jump around there. All right, let me go ahead and I will throw up the next clip on the screen for you. And this is what really kind of kicked this off. Do we all know who Tucker Carlson is? Do we know who Tucker is? Do we love Tucker? Do we not like Tucker? Let me know in the comments. Do you love Tucker? Are you with Tucker? Are you against him? Full disclosure, I've said it before. I will say it again because it's true and it's important people know where I'm coming from. Tucker is, I've known Tucker for 10 years. I've known Tucker for a very long time. I like Tucker a lot. Tucker and I remain close ever since I stopped working at the Daily Caller, and he's gone on to do big, big things in life. He's got a beautiful wife, sweetheart of a wife. incredible human being. The comments you're about to see here is what really kicked this off. The Mossad claims that are all over social media. Now, to be clear, people have talked about the Mossad connection with Epstein for years and years and years. I don't know if anyone with Tucker's size audience has before, to be honest with you. I don't know the answer to that. But this video that you're going to see right here is what launched a grenade of chaos, if you will, and just made these theories get talked about over and over again. And I got to be honest with you, I love Tucker. You're not going to hear me say a bad thing about him. If I have an issue with him and I will discuss it privately. I think that's how that thing should be handled most of the time, unless, you shouldn't flame people, publicly. And I'm not saying he said anything I did or did not disagree with, but let's go ahead and watch. So it looks like the chat, is very pro Tucker. A lot of pro Tucker comments in the chat. If we get a couple good super chats, I'll tell you a couple of my favorite personal Tucker stories that are appropriate for the airwaves. He did pull a very mean prank on me once in 2016. I don't know if I can share that one public because the other person involved has become quite famous in life. And I don't know if she would want that out there, but we'll see. All right, let's watch Tucker's comments.
Not acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math...
Wait, hold on real quick. I see we got some more shenanigans in the comments. You're gone. You just got sniped. I might not have been on Delta Force. I might not have been on SEAL Team 6. The trigger finger on here, when it comes to taking out morons in the comments, I'll snipe you in a fashion so fast you won't even know it hits you. You want to play games? You want to take a couple shots? I'll return fire, and I don't miss when it comes to these internet streets.
Teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan. Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we...
So there you go. Right there, Tucker is now saying that it's clearly tied to Israel. It's clearly tied to a foreign government. He's talking, obviously, about Epstein here. He's saying that, we're not allowed to say that, but that's the truth. Again, I'm not endorsing Tucker's view. I'm giving you the evidence throughout the episode of different people's viewpoints. Your job is to look at that evidence, look at the evidence I provide, and I'll provide the other side as well, and come to a decision on your own. Let's continue.
We have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a...
And by the way, let's rewind that right there because that's important. We'll touch on the CIA. It goes back to what I said earlier at the start of the episode about criticism. Let's listen to that again.
Prohibited me from saying my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here.
So first off, Tucker on that point is 100% correct. If you think for 1 second the American government or any other government out there is not above doing heinous things and killing people to get their way, you are living in a fantasy land. Sorry, that's the way the world works. It's like the line in Training Day when the one cop says to Denzel, essentially, I wish, why is it this way? And Denzel says, I wish it wasn't, but it is. I got to show it to you. The CIA, I better be careful here. I better make sure there's no, if you guys see a red dot show up on my head in the middle of the live stream, please let me know so I can get under my desk in my studio before whatever asset out the window might decide to take a shot. If you don't think the CIA hasn't killed people, then you are living in a fantasy land. If you think British intelligence hasn't killed people, you are living in a fantasy land. If you think Israeli intelligence hasn't killed people, you are living in a fantasy land. And in fact, when the Israelis do it, they're pretty damn open about it. When the CIA does it, they try to cover their tracks. Israel views it that being public is more of a deterrent, that if people know we have this capability, they won't want to mess with us. The U.S., for the most part, when they want to get rid of someone, they don't really broadcast it to the world. These are facts. You might not like them, but they're facts, okay? Look at all the Iranian scientists Israel has assassinated over the years. Look at what Israel did after the tragedy in the Olympics in the 70s in Germany. They went on an assassination spree. This is all, you can Google it. I'm not making this up. This is how countries operate. China does it. Russia does it. The United States does it. Israel does it. The Saudis do it. The British do it. I'm sure the French do it. It's just, this is the world we live in. This is the world we live in.
So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interest. That's not.
And I would add to what he just said there. Number one, you should demand the U.S. government work for you. You pay the tax dollars that fund this whole thing. We pay their salaries. People in the government, and I know this because I know many of them, people in the government seem to think we work for them. We don't work for them. They work for us. They're elected officials. They work for us. We pay their salaries. People that work for the intelligence agencies, we also pay their salaries, whether it be the CIA, NSA, or any other one of them. If you are part of the federal government, we are paying your salaries. You work for us. You work for the American taxpayer, and you better have the American taxpayer's best interest at heart. If you don't, you need to go. And the fact that hasn't been cleaned up yet in and of itself is unacceptable. As for dealing with foreign governments, any government, now I'm getting worked up. Any government that takes one penny of money from the generous taxpayers of America should do exactly what we tell them to do. We tell them to jump, they say how high. They should never be telling us what to do. They should never be making demands of the United States. You want to make demands? You want to have your own plan? The OFP, own effing plan, family show, I don't want to swear. Give us all our money back. Give us all our military equipment back. And then you can go do whatever you want. Of course, none of our allies will, because the only thing that saves their ass time and time again is the backbone of the United States military. Our Navy, our Air Force, our Army, and our Marines. That's the insurance policy that keeps all of our allies in business. So, of course, they're not going to give the money back. And, of course, they're not going to give the military gear back because their survival depends on the United States looking out for them. Little rant.
Not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. And yet all of us have trained ourselves to believe that you can't say that somehow, that that's like too naughty and forbidden. And the effect of making that off limits has been to create a lot of resentment, and I'll say it, hate online, where people feel like they can't just say, like, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. You have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad? Were you running a blackmail operation?
So there you go. Now we're getting into the comments. Tucker's talking about Mossad. He's talking about Israel. He's talking about whether or not Epstein was an Israeli asset. These are the comments that went mega viral. I'm showing them to you so we can break them down and you guys can see it and there's no confusion. Let's keep going.
On behalf of foreign government. By the way, every single person in Washington, D.C. thinks that. I've never met anyone who doesn't think that. I don't know any of them that hate Israel, but no one feels they can say that. Why? And I think the longer that we play along with it, the more subterranean and creepy and hateful the conversation actually becomes. So I think it's better just to say it right out loud. Did this happen? And of course, that question has been asked to the government of Israel, and their answer is, we're not going to tell you. And I think our answer should be, no. As long as we're sending you money, if you were committing crimes on our soil, we have an absolute right to know, did you do this or not? And yet everybody has been so brainwashed into thinking that's somehow an expression of hate or bigotry, when it's not. It's a baseline question that every US citizen has a right to an answer on. What the hell was this? And by the way, if it turns out that it was nothing.
So that is the video. That is the video of Tucker's comments that set the internet on fire, that spun up the Mossad allegations again, spun up everything. And I see a little bit of support for me in the chat with my rant. I mean that. You want American taxpayer money? You want the protection of this country, the most generous country on the planet? Then guess what? We're not 50-50 partners in this. If your survival is dependent on the United States of America, we're not 50-50 partners. We're not even 99-1% partners. It's 100-0. You do what we say. You do it when we tell you to do it. You don't ask questions. And if you don't like that, give us all our money back and then go do whatever you want. That's fine by me. We got plenty of problems to solve here at home. But again, I could rant all day. And that doesn't just apply to Israel. That applies to every country that is living off the taxpayer, that is living off the American working man and the American working woman. It applies to all of them. It applies to the Gulf states. It applies to NATO, which hasn't done nearly enough and is just banked on the fact the U.S. will always save them, which, we will. That's true. But Tucker's comments are not the only ones that have ever done that. Let's look at Scott Horton. I got to replace this real quick. Let's look at Scott Horton. Let me make sure I got the right video here. Give me a second. All right. Do we all know who Scott Horton is? Does it tell me in the comments? Do you know who Scott Horton is? Does that name ring a bell? Scott Horton is I'm trying to think. I don't know if historian is the right word, but he is. I guess you can call Scott Horton a historian. He's an author. He's written some very popular books. He's a bit of a Middle Eastern expert as well as Russia, Ukraine, Europe. He focuses on a lot of like the geopolitical aspects. I got to be honest. I only recently discovered Scott Horton about 6 months ago. I've been diving into his work. He is a fascinating individual. He's written some huge books. He's a big-time libertarian. He's not a Democrat. He's not a Republican. He tries to look at things through a different lens. And he has done some amazing reporting over the years about the relationship the U.S. has with other countries. Let's watch what Scott Horton had to say.
So do you believe that Epstein was an agent of Israel?
Absolutely. No question. He worked for this guy, Lex Wexner. His girlfriend was the daughter of Maxwell. What's his name? I'm sorry. His first name escaped me all of a sudden. The guy who fell off the boat and died. Major Mossad, Robert Maxwell, major Mossad officer in England for many years. That was his daughter, was this guy's pimp, the one in charge of recruiting all the little kids for him. And then he's got like one of the most expensive properties in New York City that's given to him by Lex Wexner, which is all wired for video and sound, where they invite all the prominent people up there to get them laid. They asked Bill Gates, so you're friends with Jeffrey Epstein, huh? And he looks right at the camera and goes, for like 45 seconds, dude. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And all these guys, he's palling around with Ehud Olmert, with Prince Andrew. He's got Bill Richardson, the former Secretary of Energy and ambassador to the UN, out at his compound out in New Mexico. He's got this giant ranch. That's what it was all about. American conservatives will hate Epstein and what he did, but not hold it against Israel.
So that is Scott Horton, a popular historian, author, was asked his views. Again, I'm not endorsing those views. Scott Horton can certainly speak for himself. Scott Horton is, he is who he is. I don't agree with everything he says, but I think he brings an interesting perspective. So there's another person with a huge, huge platform talking about if Jeffrey Epstein is a Mossad agent. He said some things in that clip that we're going to get into here in a little bit about connections, people who are connected to Epstein. Let's go ahead and check this out now. This comes from, I got to get it up on the screen. Still using StreamYard. I'm liking it. All right, let's go ahead and read this. This is a piece of evidence people that believe he was a Mossad agent like to use. So let's read this. Ehud Barak met with Jeffrey Epstein dozens of times, flew on private plane. Report, former prime minister visited disgraced financier, and I can't even say those two words on YouTube, about 30 times in 2013 to 2017, including a 2014 private flight in Florida. So this is the former prime minister of Israel. Now, we have some tweets that I'm going to show later that kind of push back against this, that talk about why this might actually be a piece of evidence against Epstein being a Mossad agent. Again, not here to tell you what to think, not here to tell you who's right or wrong. I'm giving you both sides of the argument. It is what it is. These people can speak for themselves. You guys are smart people. You can make your own decisions as well. So let's do this. Former Prime Minister Ehud Barak met with the late disgraced financier, and again, can't read it, Jeffrey Epstein's dozens of times beginning in 2013, according to a new report on Wednesday by the Wall Street Journal. Barak was among the list of Jewish names, including pioneering linguist and left-wing activist Noam Chomsky, longtime Bard College president Leon Botstein, filmmaker Woody Allen, listed in a newly uncovered private calendar for Epstein. The WSJ reported in the first part of its investigative series on the hugely influential Jewish donor who used his, largesse, I don't even know, to obscure what investigators covered years ago as an elaborate underage, you know what he was doing. Epstein met with thousands of people over his career, and the presence of the names does not itself indicate any evidence of misdeeds. According to the Wall Street Journal's Wednesday report on the calendar contents, Barak visited Epstein about 30 times between 2013 and 2017 at his estates in Florida and New York, including a time in 2014 when the former Israeli prime minister flew with Epstein on his private aircraft from Palm Beach to Tampa, after which Epstein went on to New York. Barak said his wife and an Israeli security guard were also on the flight. He said he flew with Epstein on his private planes. I think it meant to say planes, spelling error. On one other occasion, also with his wife and a guard. According to the report, Barak also met with Epstein monthly for nearly a year beginning in 2015. The meetings came well after. This is key, folks. This is key. The meetings came well after Epstein's 2008-2009 conviction and sentencing for, you can see it on the screen. I can't read it out and say it out loud. But Barak has maintained he had no knowledge of Epstein's activities. I'm going to be professional here. This guy met with the former prime minister of Israel 30-ish times after he was convicted of crimes that are too heinous to even mention on this live stream. And then the former prime minister of Israel comes out and says, I didn't know about any of that. I didn't know what this. Why is anyone meeting with Jeffrey Epstein after he's been convicted in 2008, 2009 of heinous crimes? Can anyone explain that to me? Does anyone who was wanting to hang out with him, can they explain to me how someone who had done the things he had done and been previously convicted, why they were spending time with him? Anyone? I'll wait. I mean, I'm not in a rush. The answer is there's no explanation that is justifiable. It doesn't mean that they were engaged in illegal conduct. It damn sure means that they should have known better. They absolutely should have known better. And apparently they did not. That's a bit weird, don't you think? But wait, there's more. This is what, again, evidence some people use to claim that, and I'm going to read some more super chats here shortly. So I see we got a couple waiting. Get your super chats in, get your theories in. I'll read your theories on air and we will get them in. This is Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Again, if you see a red dot on my head, please, please, please let me know so I can hide under the table. I don't need to get clipped tonight. Joking, of course, folks, just a joke. Don't take it too seriously. Life ain't that serious. Do we all see what's on the screen right now? This, let me scroll up real quick, actually. This guy right here, Robert Maxwell, that would be Ghislaine's father. Interesting. Ghislaine, Jeffrey Epstein's sidekick, who is doing 20 years in prison. This is her father. Hold on. What is this? Mossad allegations, the Vanu case. I'm going to read a little bit of this to you. Is this the first time any of you have heard about this? Am I breaking news for everyone here? If I am, let me know, and we'll be learning about this together and we will be in it together. All right, here we go. The Foreign Office suspected Maxwell of being a secret agent of a foreign government, possibly a double agent or a triple agent, and a thoroughly bad character and almost certainly financed by Russia. He had known links to British secret intelligence, Soviet KGB, and Israeli intelligence service Mossad. So Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who is, the father of his sidekick, who's doing 20 years in prison for crimes again. We all know what they did. We can't talk about it. We all know what they did, but apparently there wasn't anyone else involved other than those two who can be charged. Interesting. All right. Shortly before Maxwell's death, Ari Ben Mashibi, this is coming from Wikipedia, a former employee of Israel's military intelligence directorate, approached a number of news organizations in Britain and the U.S. with the allegation that Maxwell and the Daily Mirror's foreign editor, Nicholas Davies, were both longtime agents for Mossad. Ben Manashi also claimed that in 1986, Maxwell informed the Israeli embassy in London that Mordecai Vanunu revealed information about Israel's nukes to the Sunday Times, then to the Daily Mirror. Vanunu was subsequently kidnapped by Mossad, smuggled to Israel, convicted of treason, and imprisoned for 18 years. Interesting. So this guy is accused of being a Mossad agent who helped get a Israeli trader who spoke about their nukes. Because remember, Israel doesn't confirm it has nukes. It absolutely 100,000% has nukes. They don't want to admit it because then they'd have to be admitting that they're in violation of international law. That's a topic for another time. It says journalist Seymour Hersh of the New York, sorry, I'm getting so excited. I'm stepping on my words here. Of the New Yorker repeated some of the allegations during a press conference in London held to publicize the Samson option, Hersh's book about Israel's nuclear weapon. The Samson option is Israel's nuclear doctrine for the nukes they allegedly don't have. And they bomb everyone that supports them in the event they're getting overrun. That's a super simplistic way to explain the Samson option. On 21 October 1991, Labor MP George Galloway and Conservative MP Rupert Allison agreed to raise the issue in the House of Commons under parliamentary privilege protection, which in turn allowed British newspapers to report events without fear of libel suits. Maxwell called the claims ludicrous, a total invention, and fired Davies. The Washington Post reported that sources in Britain and Israel disputed Hersh's claim a year later in Galloway's libel settlement against Mirror Group newspapers. Galloway's counsel announced the MP accepted that the group staff had not been involved in the Vanunu's abduction. Galloway referred to Maxwell as one of the worst criminals of the century. So there you go. Her father was facing allegations that he was a Mossad agent. So these are pieces of evidence that people draw lines to when discussing whether or not Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. These are data points. Ghislaine Maxwell's father was accused of being one. He was close with the former prime minister of Israel. We'll have some pushback to that. I'm putting all the evidence out there, but so far we're about halfway through the evidence of Epstein, the claims of Epstein, the suggestions and theories. And let me know in the comments right now, do you believe he was a Mossad agent or not? I want to see what you guys say. We got a couple super chats we need to bang out here before we continue. We got Jay Buck 99. David, you're brave for taking this on. Luke 18:25. Let me look up what Luke 18:25 is. I should know my Bible better than that. What is it? Let me see what that Bible verse is. For it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. Oh, I know this Bible verse. For it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. I appreciate the super chat. Love the content. Thank you very much. I'm not brave. I'm not brave. I'm just bringing you different sides of the argument. You guys can come up with your beliefs, what you think, and go from there. We got $10. Papa Penguin. Thank you very much. $10. That's big. That's like to see it. A lot of parallels between the Epstein and the Franklin conspiracy in the 80s, allegations of blackmail. I don't know, some type of sniper activity, powerful people, and government cover-up. This looks a lot like that. Not familiar with that, but I will make a note of it, and I will look it up after the show, and I will figure out what that is, and we shall see. So I'm seeing a lot of people so far think he's Mossad. A lot of people are saying he was Mossad. Some saying he was CIA. Absolutely Mossad, 1,000% Mossad, 100% Mossad, asset, double agent, Illuminati. There we go. Now we're really getting into it. There we go. Okay. So you guys kind of have a bunch of different opinions. So that's part one. That's how some people feel. Now let's get into Israel's response, evidence against it. What other people have said. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Give me a second. I always do appreciate the super chats, guys. It means a lot. This ain't free to run. I know you guys know that. We're trying to build, trying to expand. Every dollar counts. I can promise you that much. All right. So actually, let's click this first, and then we'll go with Tucker's response. So this is from former Prime Minister of Israel, Naftali Bennett. He says, as a former Israeli prime minister, so he is denying it. This is on the record. The former prime minister of Israel is 100% denying that he was Mossad. Again, I'm giving you the evidence. You guys do with it what you want. As a former Israeli prime minister with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I can say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. Epstein's conduct, both the criminal and merely despicable, had nothing whatsoever to do with Mossad or the state of Israel. Epstein never worked for the Mossad. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't. They just make things up, say with confidence, and these lies stick because it's Israel. There's a vicious wave of slander and lies against my country and my people, and we just won't take it anymore. I wonder what he means by we just won't take it anymore. So right here now, what you have on the screen is Tucker's response. You just won't take it anymore. Instead of issuing threats on social media, why don't you sit down for a rational interview on Jeffrey Epstein's ties to the Israeli government? We'll reach out to your office this morning. So that right there is the Israelis coming out and saying, no. We're coming out on the record. I'm former prime minister. They reported to me. I'm telling you all right now, he was not a Mossad agent. Take my word for it. They reported to me. Absolutely not true. It's a lie. Again, this is coming from a former Israeli prime minister. Never trust anybody's government, guys. Never trust anybody's government whatsoever. They'll lie to you. Our government will lie to us. What would make us think any other government won't lie to us either? So we have, here we go. I got to pull this up. All right. I'm going to throw this on the screen. I did text him before this to make sure he was cool with me showing his tweets, given the size of the show. You always want to be polite. You always want to make sure that you're just not throwing people's stuff up here. So this is from Jamie Weinstein. Jamie has a very popular podcast. I believe it's hosted with National Review, where he interviews different political figures. Very smart dude. I've known Jamie for 10 years. Great guy. I haven't seen him in a little bit. I don't want to. He left where he was. I'm not going to say where he is now for obvious reasons. But we used to get lunch, dinner every once in a while. We'd have fun conversations. Smart guy. He brought up some counterpoints. I guess I should click on this is weird. This is like a daily caller reunion happening right now. So Sagar Enjeti, who's the host of Breaking Points, he tweeted, here's a list of Israeli prime ministers linked to Epstein. Shimon Peres introduced Ehud Barak to Epstein. Ehud Olmert named as an Epstein associate by USVI. Ehud Barak connections too vast to paraphrase. Netanyahu met with JP Morgan after apparent Epstein intro. Jamie responds with, again, this is evidence Epstein was unlikely a secret Israeli agent unless you think it is common for secret agents to regularly interact with the prime minister of a country they are secret agents for. That's actually a good point. That is actually a data point due to the fact that if this guy was a top secret Mossad agent, why would the Israeli prime minister be hanging out with him constantly, publicly, being photographed, going in and out of his house? That is, it's a fair point that should be asked. Jamie, I give point to Jamie on that one. All right, he's got another one. He says, the more you think of the potential Epstein-Israel connect, the less it makes sense. The claim is Epstein was an Israeli secret agent who compromised politicians so they would support Israel. Where was he when Dems supported Obama's JCPOA? So the point there Jamie is making is that Israel hated the JCPOA. They absolutely hated it. That was the Iran deal that Trump pulled out of. If they had all this dirt on them, all this dirt on politicians, why weren't they being, rounded up to do something about it with this blackmail? To be fair, another really good point by Jamie. And then he says to the Trump video we played earlier, a weird answer. If Obama, Comey made up the files, you'd think they did it to Republicans, but nothing was released. So obviously not true. So what's the motivation to frame it this way other than Trump is in the files in an unflattering way? Obviously, again, I don't know anything about that last part. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, he's given his opinion. I will tell you, Jamie's a smart dude. You should go check out his podcast. I think if you like this show, you like learning about history and just the political environment, I think you would absolutely like his show as well. So he raised some good points there. He raised a few good points about, hey, is it really a good idea for this guy, this top secret agent of ours, to be meeting with the prime minister of the country he is spying for? It would seem like the answer is likely no. That would be, I think, logically, that would make sense. I just got a tip about something real quick. Hold on. I got to be careful here. I don't want to play this on the show quite yet. Wait a second. All right. I'm not going to get into that right now. It was Timmy K. It was Tim Kennedy related. We'll save that for later because we will have some Tim Kennedy stuff coming up. I promise you. So that's what you saw Jamie say. I thought he made a few good points. I wanted to share that because logically his points do stand. Now, whether they're correct or not, your guess is as good as mine. I'm just here to bring you guys the evidence. But now let's go to this. All right. Let's get this up on the screen. It says Epstein laughed off Israeli spy claims. This is according to his lawyer. It's scroll down here. Jeffrey Epstein laughed off claims he was an Israeli spy, his former attorney said. Alan Dershowitz, who helped secure the controversial sweetheart deal for Epstein, said the disgraced financier denied being a foreign agent when grilled on the subject. Epstein has been accused in recent days of being a Mossad spy by the likes of Tucker Carlson, something that has been strongly denied by Israel. It comes as the Epstein case has been under renewed scrutiny over the potential damaging so-called client list. Of course, we now know the U.S. government claims no such client list even exists, even though Pam Bondi said it did, has failed to materialize despite promises from the Trump administration. Asked about the claims that Epstein was a spy potentially holding leverage on the rich and powerful, Mr. Dershowitz told The Telegraph, we discussed it, and the answer was no. He laughed it off. No intelligence agency would trust him. Mr. Dershowitz said he was convinced Epstein would have told him if he was a spy to try to get a better deal. That's not something you would keep from his lawyers. That's something he would tell his lawyers. Would he actually tell his lawyers that? If you were working for a foreign intelligence agency, would you really want your lawyer to know that? I mean, that's a serious question. it would seem like the answer to that would be no. It would seem like the answer would absolutely be not. You're not going to let your lawyer know, but his lawyer denies it. Now, I want to play devil's advocate. Sorry, dude, I'm going so fast here. I'm tripping my words. I want to play devil's advocate by why he would have made a real shitty spy. The problem with Jeffrey Epstein, and one of the biggest liabilities, is that he was a scumbag, clearly motivated to some degree by money. People who are motivated by money are easily bought and sold. Their allegiance can change like that. People that you want to bank huge intel operations on generally can't be motivated by money, because someone can come along later in the pipeline with a bigger checkbook, write a bigger check, and get all the information he had. And what's Israel's GDP? About $500 billion a year, 500 billion a year. There's a lot of countries with way more money than that. The United States, Saudi Arabia. There are a lot of countries that have way more money that could pay for his services with a lot more. So that's something to think about. Now, is it possible that Ghislaine was actually the handler and Jeffrey Epstein was being used as an unknowing idiot? He didn't realize he was being played. It's very possible. And hold on, I got to get something up here. I just want this to be ready for when we need it next. So is it possible that he wasn't actually a spy, but was an asset, was an unknowing asset? Or was he a Mossad agent? Which one was it? I'm not here to tell you. I want you guys to sound off in the comments. If you got some super chats with your theory, I guarantee you super chat it. It'll get up on the screen. The whole world will hear your theory. It is possible, logical, and explainable to a degree that that Ghislaine was actually the mastermind. Epstein gets caught and is a loose end. And as we all know, what do you do with loose ends? You got to tie them up. Now, what I'm about to tell you guys is going to piss some people off. It's going to make some people very angry. And they're going to accuse me of anti-Semitism. They're going to accuse me of hating Israel, neither of which is true. The only country I love is the United States of America. I was born here. My family is here. I will die here. This is my country. I love this country. I don't have any love for foreign countries. They might be useful. They might be good allies, but I don't love any of them like I love America. And I'll criticize any country I want to, anyone I want to, whether it's Russia, Israel, China, Germany, France, Mexico, Canada, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. I'm an American. I'll say whatever the hell I want to because that's what this country is. If you don't like it, move to a country that doesn't have free speech. And then you can be surrounded by people who aren't allowed to speak their mind. I'll stay here in America and I'll continue to say whatever I want. And if you don't like that, then you know what? Maybe you'll be the one putting a red dot laser on my head. Maybe I'm getting a little too out there. I'm telling a little bit too much. No, I'm just joking. That's a joke. That's a joke. Please don't send your people to take me out. Not what I'm hoping to get here. Let me get a little water and then we're going to get into something that nobody likes talking about, or at least nobody talks about at length. Here's a little dirty secret of how intelligence works and how foreign relationships work. Everybody spies on each other. You spy on your enemies. You spy on your allies. This is how the world works. If this is the first time you're hearing that, welcome to the show. I'm David Hookstead. I'm cracking an egg of knowledge on your head. Some people would have you believe that Israel has never done anything to harm the United States of America. Some people would have you believe that Israel has only the United States' best interest at play, that Israel would never do anything outside of lockstep agreement with the United States. Well, is that true? Let's take a look. Let me introduce you to Jonathan Pollard. Do we all know who Jonathan Pollard is? Can anyone in the comments tell me who Jonathan Pollard is? Does this name ring a bell? Has anyone heard this before? Let me highlight this for you. Jonathan J. Pollard is an American former intelligence analyst who was jailed for spying for Israel. He was an Israeli spy here in the U.S., an American citizen who was providing information to Israel. And he was sentenced to life in prison for violations of the Espionage Act in 1987. Let's see. Israel formally acknowledged it, didn't admit to paying him until 1998. Let's see what he did. So yeah, stealing classified documents, was handing over classified information to the Israelis. I mean, you can look this guy up. So anyone who thinks for a second that they don't spy on us, I'm sorry, that you're just not living in reality at all. Jonathan Pollard was one of the worst spies in American history, and he was spying on behalf of a foreign country, that foreign country being Israel. He got sentenced to life in prison and then ultimately was essentially swapped out and sent to Israel, where he lives now. He ain't the only one, though. Allow me to introduce you to this guy. Ben Amidi Kadish. There you go. He pleaded guilty in December 2008 to being an unregistered agent for Israel and admitted to disclosing classified U.S. documents to Israel in the 1980s. His unauthorized disclosure of classified U.S. secrets to Israel was concurrent with the espionage activity of Jonathan Pollard, who was convicted of espionage and answered to the same Israeli handler. There you go. There's two examples you can pull up off Google right there. That's the way the world works, folks. We spy on people. They spy on us. Everyone's friends up until they're not friends. Everyone's trying to get in an edge, if you will. That's just the truth of the matter. My mustache hair is starting to get a little itchy, if I'm being honest with you. That is just what happened. I hope during this that you have looked at the claims people have made. You looked at the claims that are out there. You've looked at the evidence. You've looked at what is in front of you, and you guys can come to a decision of your own. Me personally, I don't know whether or not Jeffrey Epstein was Mossad. I don't know if he was British MI6. I don't know if he was CIA. I don't know if he was working with the French. I don't know who he was working for. But, beautiful word, but all signs certainly point to the fact that he was a lot more than just someone who accidentally became friends with incredibly powerful people. And he just happened to get all this money. And he just happened to just luck his way into high society. Somebody was paying him. He was getting his money from somewhere. We know that for a fact. So I want to know what you guys think. Don't let up in the comments. Send me your comments. Send me your super chats. I'll read them all up on the screen. Everyone who sends a super chat will obviously get read. If you have a theory that I haven't come up with, if you have a theory that or a piece of information I'm missing, please send it. Please send it. I'll look at it. I'll analyze it, and we will figure out what is going on. We will figure out the truth. And here's another thing. As American citizens, we have a right to ask for the truth. We have a right for our government to be honest with us. And that's why when Pam Bondi, a certified idiot, runs out on TV and talks about how they've got a list and they've got all this stuff and they've got names and they've got evidence. And then they release a statement saying, no, there was no list. We're not going to arrest anybody else. Stop talking about this. Trump's out there being like, stop talking about this. Go away. It's not a big deal. National security. We can't tell you. It's embarrassing. As an American citizen, it is honestly embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for my government. I truly am. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think he was Mossad? Do you think he was someone else? Was he an asset? Was he an unknowing asset? Was he someone who was just taking money from an organization? We don't know. And I would like to get to the bottom of it. And the way to get to the bottom of it is to release all the information. Just give it to us. It's not that hard. That's where we're at, though. That's where I am at on the Epstein thing. We've done 70 minutes of it. We've got a lot more coming in this show that I can't wait to talk to you guys about. A lot of you saying Ghislaine Maxwell was worse. Very possible. She's the only one who actually got convicted the second time around. His first conviction, of course, was a joke, got a sweetheart deal. And let me give him some more water real quick. At least I'm not sweating anymore now that my AC got fixed. So we got someone saying he was a broker of information to all countries who could afford it. Very possible. Very possible that that could be true. All right, here we go. Let's talk about some other. If you guys got questions, any questions you want me to answer, throw them in. Throw them in there. I will answer them. But let's talk about another controversial thing our government has lied about forever. We all know who JFK was, right? You all know John F. Kennedy. They took him. He wasn't big friends with the CIA. Then he drove down in downtown Dallas with the hood of his car down, and Lee Harvey Oswald shot him a bunch of times and killed him. Right? That's what happened. That's definitely what happened. Definitely Lee Harvey Oswald, a loner and a loser who knew nothing at all about how the world operated. He was a shitty shot, but somehow he assassinated the most powerful person in the world without any help whatsoever. Sure he did. That's the official story. That's what we believe. And of course, the CIA has claimed for years, that Lee Harvey Oswald had no connections to the CIA. The CIA's claimed forever there was no ties between Lee Harvey Oswald. I wrote about this on Outkick.com. You can go read it there if you want. No ties. Complete coincidence. They had nothing to do with each other. Right. Do you believe that? Well, turns out that was a big lie. Who could have guessed that? Give me 1 second. I got to throw. My fiance Shelby's probably going to be yelling at me, but I got a metal tin. Look at this. Pretty sure that could stop a bullet. But who knows? Maybe YouTube will take this video down for that anyways. I think we're past the point of no return on this one. This video is going to get nuked. Let's just be honest about it. YouTube is almost certainly not going to let this stay up, but I'm having fun, so why not keep doing it? So the CIA, which claimed it had no connections to Lee Harvey Oswald, right? No connections whatsoever. Let's go ahead and read this. This is from the Wall Street Journal. The CIA reveals more of its connection to Lee Harvey Oswald. But wait, I thought there was no connection. I thought the CIA didn't know anything about Lee Harvey Oswald. It says new documents show an officer known only as Howard managed a Cuban group that interacted with Oswald in the months before the JFK assassination. Let's scroll down a little bit. For more than 60 years, the CIA claimed it had little or no knowledge of Lee Harvey Oswald's activities before the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. That wasn't true. New documents unearthed by a House task force prove. The revelation adds fuel to the long simmering questions around what the agency knew about the plot to murder the president and what else it may be hiding. The documents confirm that George Janitas, a CIA officer based in Miami in 1963, was helping finance and oversee a group of Cuban students opposed to the ascension of Fidel Castro. Janitas had a covert assignment to manage anti-Castro propaganda and disrupt pro-Castro groups, even as the CIA was prohibited from domestic spying. So there you go. That's great. The CIA is prohibited from domestic spying. Prohibited. Can't do it. And yet, does it shock anyone to know they're breaking that law? The CIA-backed group known as DRE was aware of Oswald as he publicly promoted a pro-Castro policy for the U.S. and its members physically clashed with him 3 months before the assassination. And then a DRE member said Oswald approached them and offered his help, possibly as work as a mole within the pro-Castro group, the Fair Play for Cuba Committee. The CIA has long denied any involvement with the Cuban group or the awareness of Oswald's pro-Cuba advocacy. After the most recent release of the documents, the agency did not respond to a request for comment. Let me make sure I'm not missing. Yeah, so Howard was Jonitas. So there you go. His people had contact with Lee Harvey Oswald prior to the shooting, and there's more. There's always more. Let me pull this up for you. Do we all know who Congresswoman Anna Paulina Lunas is? This should be in here, I believe. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to share this on my screen. Oops, hold on. All right, it's being shared. So this woman here is Anna Paulina Lunas, or Luna, sorry, not Lunas. She's a great congresswoman. She's a congresswoman from Florida. I love her. I've talked with her office before. She's been a great hawk on getting the truth about JFK out there. She's one of the few people in the U.S. government who has come out and said, listen, I'm getting real close to sniping some people in the chat right now. You want to play games? I'll dust the safety off on the old trigger, and I'll start sniping dudes left and right in the comment section. You'll be gone before you even knew what hit you. Delta Force might have the best shooters on the planet when it comes to taking out bad guys. When it comes to taking out idiots in the comments, that'd be me. So test me, and I'll dust the old trigger finger off. We'll see how it goes for you. All right, let's watch your comments.
What's your priority list? Because Epstein, 9/11.
Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
So here we go. Let's rewatch.
Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters, and we should be.
I believe there were two
in
shooters.
Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters.
For those of you who don't know the single bullet theory, we can talk about that. The single bullet theory is a theory that one bullet hit Kennedy, hit the governor, bounced around, caused all this damage, and then it was found on the gurney, stretcher, whatever you want to call it, when Kennedy got to the hospital. There's one problem with the magic bullet theory, and I can pull that up here for you over at outkick.com. I think it's storming out real bad right now. It's either storming out real bad right now or a Black Ops assault team is lining up to take me out. All right, here we go. Share this. I got to get this off the screen. I don't need an ad running. All right. So the magic bullet theory, which is what I just said, hinges on the belief that the bullet was found on the gurney. The problem with that is the Secret Service agent who found the bullet, let me scroll up here and get his name, Paul Landis, spoke with the New York Times, who was in the motorcade, saying that the bullet was not found on the gurney. He found it right here. Let's read this. The former Secret Service agent told the New York Times he found the bullet in Kennedy's limo lodged in the seat behind where Kennedy was at the time he was hit. Out of fear of souvenir hunters coming near the limo, Landis grabbed it, entered the hospital, and placed it on Kennedy's stretcher in hopes it could help doctors. He believes the stretchers got pushed together and the bullet moved from JFK to Conley. So the bullet was found on Conley's. That's my bad. There was nobody there to secure the scene, and that was a big, big bother to me, and all the agents that were there were focused on the president. This was all going on so quickly, and I was just afraid that it was a piece of evidence that I realized right away, very important, and I didn't want it to disappear or get lost. So as Paul, you've got to make a decision, and you grabbed it. Why is this important? Why is this important? If the bullet was found lodged in the back seat of Kennedy's limo, it is impossible from a ballistic standpoint that the shot came from behind. Let's think about this. I wasn't even planning on doing this. Do we all know what this is? This is a 50 caliber round. It's been cut open so I can use it to crack open bottles. In fact, should I go get a bottle? We'll crack open a bottle together. We'll have some fun here. Let's think about this. Pretend I'm Kennedy for a second. Just follow me for a second. I'm Kennedy. I'm facing forward, right? Right? We're all in agreement. If the bullet's coming from behind, hits me in the head, travels forward, because that's what bullets do, they travel forward, the bullet would have to be found in the front of the car, another human, but it definitely can't be found lodged in the back seat of the car. If the bullet's coming this way, like this, where's that bullet going to be found? Where's the bullet going to be found? What direction of travel would the bullet have to be moving in to be found in the back seat of the car? Would we like to take a guess? It's got to be coming from the front. Bullet's going to hit. It's going to tumble. It's going to get in the back seat of the car. The bullet ain't coming from behind, hitting Kennedy, hitting Connolly, bouncing around a bunch, and then bouncing backwards. Seemingly, it would have to then go again through Kennedy, I believe, into the back seat of the car. That never happened. Ballistics don't lie. Your girlfriend might lie. Your boyfriend might lie. Ballistics don't. It's a science. I got to put this back. So, quite frankly, that piece of evidence is pretty damning. No one's been able to explain it. No one's been able to explain how this magic bullet theory, which relies on the bullet being in the gurney, how is it possible that the bullet was in the back seat of the car, according to the Secret Service agent who found it? That means the bullet had to come from the front. It's physics. It's basic shooting 101. I have shot a lot of things in life. Not a human. Need to be clear on that. I don't need to be under investigation over false claims. When you shoot something, most of the time, well, always 100% of the time, the initial impact is going to take the target in the direction of the bullet. So if a bullet hits me in the chest, it's going to rock me backwards. Right now, I might then rock forward. I might fall forward, but the bullet is I'm going to move with the energy of the bullet. That's how that works. So the Kennedy shooting, to me, is one of the greatest cover-ups we've ever seen. It's probably even far greater than the Epstein cover-up because somebody killed the president of the United States. The official story is Lee Harvey Oswald, this idiot who acted alone, he did it all by himself. Do you believe that? I want to see in the chat right now. What is your JFK theory? Give me your theory for how JFK was killed. Put it in the chat right now. I'll read some of them. If you got a super chat, that takes priority. Who killed JFK? Let me know in the chat. While we're on the subject of JFK, have any of you seen the series 11/22/63 with James Franco? I think it was on Hulu originally. Let me see. In fact, I think I might have a copy of it in the closet right here. Let's see if it's streaming. So it says it's streaming on Tubi. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I have a copy of it. 1 second. Yeah, I do. Hold on. I'm coming back. I'm back. Have any of you guys ever seen this before? Let's see if I can hold that to the. It's called 11/22/63. This is one of my favorite shows ever. It's like a reimagining with some crazy stuff of the Kennedy assassination. Stars James Franco. Who's the other? I'm trying to think who the other woman is in it. I don't know if it says here. Huh. But the woman who plays the lead, let me see if I can pull up a picture of her. Sarah Gadon. Let's see here. This woman. This is the show. I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you. What is going on here? All right, there we go. This woman right here is the star. James Franco is the other star. You guys have got to check it out. It's a great JFK assassination series. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me read some of the chats now. Let's see what you guys think. So I asked you to tell me who you think killed JFK. Let's read some of these. Government, CIA, the mob, mafia, the Illuminati. So someone says they saw it. So we got a guy in here who saw the series. CIA, Oswald's a patsy, mafia, LBJ, the mob, CIA and mafia. So is there anyone in the comment section who believes the official story? Is there one person? Is there one person in the comments that believes the official story? It's a great series. I see some of you saying you've seen it. CIA. It doesn't look, we got Sergeant Will. Sergeant Will says, I love the book and the show was incredible. My emphatic endorsement to that. I agree 100%. I never read the book. I did watch the show. Absolutely loved it. It was absolutely great. All right. So that's where we're at on JFK. That was a pretty big bombshell. We got a bunch more topics. I am going to be talking about the updates with the Tim Kennedy investigation, as well as my timeline for when I think I'll be releasing the full investigation. I will bring the full investigation to you all here at YouTube. You will get to see everything. You will hear from his teammates. You will hear from eyewitnesses. I have photographs. I have videos. I have more evidence than you guys can possibly imagine. I promise to bring it all to you. I'm not going to hold anything back. Nothing will be held back whatsoever. But here's another thing we have to talk about. And this is President Donald Trump escalating the war in Ukraine. Let me see if I can find the video. I'm going to see if I can pull the clips from so many. Come on, guys. All right, where is it? So this is a video of me. This is going to get trippy. Actually, we'll just do it this way. All righty. Where is it? Come on. All right, here we go. President Donald Trump appears to be ready to escalate the war in Ukraine. Let me share this on my screen. As we all know, the war in Ukraine has been absolutely brutal. Russia and Ukraine have been battling it out. It's like trench warfare. It's horrors you can't even imagine. It is beyond sad, beyond tragic. Hundreds of thousands have passed away. It is nothing short of brutal. Trump vowed to get the war done on day one. That clearly didn't happen. Now it appears that Putin has pissed him off to the level that he is going to send some of America's most advanced systems to Ukraine, specifically Patriot missiles. And I'm going to tell you what we actually really need those missiles for. Let's play this.
Patriot missiles specifically, or Patriot batteries that you're planning, and when do you
everything? It's Patriots. It's all of them. It's a full complement with the batteries.
And when do you expect them to arrive in Ukraine, sir?
Well, we're going to have some come very soon, within days actually. Because a couple of the countries that have Patriots are going to swap over, and will replace the Patriots with the ones they have. We have one country that has 17 Patriots getting ready to be shipped. They're not going to need them for them. So we're going to work a deal where the 17 will go, or a big portion of the 17 will go to the war side.
Mr.
That can be done.
All right. So there is President Donald Trump saying that he is going to send Patriot missiles to Ukraine. He is going to give our best gear. It'll be shipped to the war in Ukraine against Russia. I want to know in the comments, hit me with your super chats. Do you think this is America first? Is this what you voted for? Do you want to see more weapon systems sent to Ukraine? Let me know. I'm going to read some comments when they come in. Here's where I'm at on this. And people might not like this. That's okay. We need those Patriot missiles. We need those Patriot missiles as well as our best gear for one simple task. And that is the upcoming conflict with China. If you don't think we're not on the brink 2 to 5 years away from a direct conflict with China, you're living with your head in the sand. I'm sorry. You just are. I hate to be the one to break it to you again. I know I'm breaking a lot of things to a lot of people today, but you just are. China has expansionist ambitions in the South China Sea. They threaten allies that we cannot allow to fall. 95% of our chips, roughly, need Taiwan to happen. We're talking about our economy. We're talking about our cell phones. We're talking about, well, headphones don't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things. We can live without them, but I think you get the point I'm trying to make. All of our most sensitive tech, we need those chips. If China takes Taiwan and Taiwan falls, we will be living in a different world when the sun comes up the next day. It is as simple as that. What's happening in the Middle East doesn't impact your life. All the countries in the Middle East could cease to exist other than maybe Saudi Arabia because of the oil production. And the reality is the average American, their life wouldn't change one bit. Ukraine could cease to exist. Our lives would not change one bit. Russia could cease to exist. Our lives would not change one bit. We lose Taiwan, our lives are going to have an immediate change. And we also have to talk about how we've allowed our supply chain to be married to Chinese production, and how China's bought farmland all over the U.S. next to military bases where they could easily build drones at and then use those drones to attack our military base, our bases in the U.S. in what would be a devastating first strike. Would delay communications, would delay abilities to respond. This is the way it is. I'm telling you the truth. We need our weapons. We need our weapons to defend ourselves and defend key critical allies. Allies we cannot afford to lose. Taiwan goes down, we are screwed in the U.S. for at least the next 10 years. And then South Korea and Japan, which house critical U.S. military bases, as well as Australia, if they're smart, will race to get nukes. They will race to get nukes, as they should. So it's crazy to me. I want to see in the comments, do you guys think this is America first? Do you want to see Trump do this? Do you want to see this war get dragged out? Do you believe there's a peaceful resolution? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll get to the comments when I get a chance. Again, super chats are always appreciated. I'm worried about China in the sense that they have a big military, they have an advanced military. It's an untested military for sure. No question about that. But we need to take that threat seriously. We absolutely cannot ignore the threat that is China. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. Someone said you've been saying Kennedy a lot. Thought you were talking about infamous Tim. No, I was talking about JFK and how he was obviously killed in Dallas. And that was a horrific situation. But yeah, keep sending your questions. I'm going to read as many as I can. Should I go get a beer? Should we all go get a beer? Should we get a cigar or something? Spice this up. I tell you what, I'm going to finish this block. We've got 2 more stories in this block. We've got Sean Ryan and Gavin Newsom. We've got Trump roasting AOC and Jasmine Crockett. And then I'm going to go grab a cold one. I'll come back and we'll finish out with some Tim Kennedy and Rob O'Neill drama as well. So send me your super chats. I'll read them when we're done with the block. I'll read your questions. All right. Who wants to watch Gavin Newsom lie through his dirty little teeth? Gavin Newsom is an absolute clown and buffoon. Sean Ryan, a lot of people thought I was attacking Sean Ryan. Wasn't attacking Sean Ryan at all. Don't have any issue with Sean Ryan at all. I think Sean Ryan's a good dude. We have a lot of the same guests over the years. And by the way, there's something else I should probably address about my job status, and a nasty rumor going around about my job status because people are absolute idiots. And you know what? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But let's watch Gavin Newsom lie through his greasy little.
Last thing people would expect is that I respect this gift.
Oops, went to my own Twitter account.
Expect is that I respect this gift.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You hate guns. You hate the Second Amendment. You would take everyone's guns away in a heartbeat if you could. That's who you are, Gavin Newsom. Like I said earlier in the video, you got so much damn oil in your hair. George Bush and Dick Cheney are ready to roll tanks across the border to come get you. You're a con artist. You're a snake oil salesman. You're an absolute piece of trash. You're one of the worst governors this country has ever had. And if people know what's good for them, we will do everything in our power to make sure this sleazeball doesn't get anywhere near the White House. So let's listen to Gavin Newsom lie through his teeth.
Ready for this? Is this an accident? I got to report this gift, man.
That is a California compliant 6 hour P365 macro.
This is too cool. The fact that you would give me this. You just want TSA to take this from me in the airport. I'm on to you, man.
I got a buddy at SIG, and he was like, you got to get a SIG in his hand.
Brother, this is fabulous. I'm not anti-gun at all.
I'm sorry. What was that, Gavin? You're not anti-what at all? Did this guy just say he's not anti-gun?
Fabulous. I'm not anti-gun at all. I'm for just some gun safe common sense. I'm challenged by large capacity magazine clips in urban centers, weapons of war, sometimes outgunning the police, but otherwise.
He's challenged by large capacity magazine clips. He's just throwing out buzzwords. He doesn't have any idea what he's talking about at all. I don't blame Sean Ryan for this. I don't blame Sean Ryan for it at all. Gavin Newsom's got a big name. He's a big draw. I get it. I get it. Gavin Newsom is also lying to you. He's a liar. Let's call him what he is. He's an absolute liar. Liar. He hates your guns. And he can have mine when he pries them from my cold, dead hands. You think this Red Dawn? You think this Red Dawn DVD is a joke? It ain't. This is the spirit we got to live by. When the invaders come, we'll go full Wolverines on them. Got to make sure that's up there and standing. What do y'all think about Gavin Newsom? Let me know in the comments. I think this guy's an absolute scumbag. Absolute scumbag. And quite frankly, Gavin Newsom, you know what? If Gavin Newsom wanted to come on here, I'd talk to him. I would. And I'd look him in the face and I'd be like, every word that comes out of your mouth is BS. It's BS. If your mouth is moving, Gavin, you're lying. He literally looks like the character from the movie American Psycho. I mean, I hate to be on a roll here, but now I'm amping myself up. That's who he looks like. It's a clown show. It's an absolute clown show. So, all right, next one. I think you guys will actually like this one. I believe this is right. Let me double check. All right. Who wants to watch Trump roast AOC and Jasmine Crockett? Do we all know who Jasmine Crockett and AOC are? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, excuse me. Now I'll get accused of something else because I barely got their name mispronounced a little bit. Trump says AOC, well, I don't want to say, but AOC, listen, can I be honest? Can I bare my soul with you all for a little bit? Can I just come straight to the people and tell you how I really feel? I think AOC's political views are idiotic. She's a absolute dumbass politically. But come on, gentlemen. She's kind of hot. She's kind of hot. She's good looking. AOC is an attractive woman. If AOC walked up to you in a bar and wanted to sit and talk with you, you'd talk to her. Come on, don't lie to me. I certainly would if I wasn't engaged. Fortunately, I'm engaged to the greatest woman on the planet, Shelby. So I'm taking. Someone said she's crazy. Yeah, all hot women are a little crazy. That's a joke. Don't take the video down, YouTube. Don't delete the video. Don't fucking, no, geez, sorry, language. Don't come after me. Listen, as someone, well, I should probably be careful what I say. I've dated a couple crazy women. Shelby's probably the most normal woman ever that I've dated, and she's not crazy at all. And if you can find a woman who's not crazy, marry her as fast as you can, because there aren't many out there. I've dated some crazy women. Every guy in their life at some point needs to date a couple crazy women, because one, it's a load of fun. It's a load of fun. Anyone who's telling you it's not is just lying to you. And every day feels like you're playing with fire and you're risking your life. The greatest example I've compared dating crazy women to is it's like riding a surfboard on the biggest wave possible, the most dangerous wave possible. You know it's going to end in disaster. You know it's going to end in disaster. You just know it. You know it before it does. But you just can't stop yourself from seeing how far you can push it. Your ego takes over and you're like, I can push it a little bit farther. And it always ends in disaster. Then you grow up a little bit. You grow up, you realize, this is a dangerous game. I probably shouldn't be playing. These are what we call life ruiners. That is a nickname someone I know came up with them. So we've all dated, every guy here has dated at least one crazy woman. I'm sure a lot of the women have dated crazy guys. I'm fair with everyone. I'm not going to say it was just me or it's just women. It's just guys. We've all been there. But let's go ahead and watch what Trump had to say about AOC.
You know, AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time.
Say whatever you want about Trump. The dude is absolutely hilarious. The dude in a different life, instead of running the United States of America and all of our nukes and the world's greatest military, would have been a first-rate stand-up comedian. His comedic timing is unbelievably impressive. The dude is a rock star, a superstar in terms of comedy. All right. I'm going to go grab a beer real quick. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my beer. Now would be the time to send your questions when I'm gone. Go get yourself a drink. I'll be right back. Then we're going to get into Tim Kennedy updates. My boy Rob O'Neill is back to causing issues. Jazz, first off, let me be clear. AOC, terrible political ideas, would still, she's got a little bit of a soft spot for her. Jasmine Crockett is one of the dumbest humans walking the world. She's mean-spirited. She's not smart at all. I don't even know. I was about to say she's not very smart. She's not smart at all. She's an absolute effing clown show. She's an idiot, an absolute idiot. AOC, I'm not trying to bring down AOC any more than I have to. She is absolutely nothing at all like Jasmine Crockett, who is certainly a low IQ idiot. I'll be right back. Let me go grab a drink. All right, I am back. I am back. Let me move some stuff around on my desk here so that I don't spill. Also, you want to see something epic? So I poured it into a glass. My mom made me this. It's got the American flag. It's got the military. It's a mug that has, I think there's an eagle on here somewhere. It's got someone holding up the flag. You can see a couple troops, right? You can see a couple troops right there. So thank you very much to my mother. My mother is a saint. She's a lovely woman. What am I drinking? This is a Peroni. I'm drinking a Peroni. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Got it a while ago. It's been sitting in the fridge. And I thought, you know what? Might as well burn through them while we got them. So it's got a nice aroma. I've never actually had this stuff before. I bought it for the first time, but it does smell good. All right, we got a super chat. Super chat. Thank you very much. Lawrence St. Dominic, $4.99. Didn't even leave a message. Just sent me $5. Guys, I appreciate all the super chats. You guys have no idea how much it means to me. Like I said, this isn't free. The streaming service is very expensive. I'm happy we're on the streaming service because it allows me to drop the graphics in there and I can show the comments on the screen for everyone. So trust me, I appreciate it. Every dollar counts. I pay for all this myself. No one else pays for this. It's all me. And whatever you guys send goes directly into helping make the show better. I've only done, I think this is like my 5th live stream or so. So I'm still trying to get the hang of it. I'm doing the absolute best I can. Every dollar counts. I appreciate it. And okay, so people are saying Peroni is good. Yeah, I like it. It's not bad. All right. Should we talk about our good friend Tim Kennedy? Should we talk about our good friend Timmy K? What do we got about Timmy K? So here's where I'm at on the investigation with Tim Kennedy. I have spoken to a ton of 7th group guys. I've spoken to more than I can count at this point. I have many of them on the record, and I'm thinking what I'm going to do is on my next live stream, on the Tuesday live stream, I'm thinking the next thing I'm going to do, my next Tuesday live stream will be the results of the full investigation. It'll have pictures. It'll have comments from his teammates. It'll have everything you guys could possibly imagine. The full investigation is about 6,000 words long when typed out. That is how many quotes I got from his teammates. That is how many quotes I got from guys who were there, from witnesses. I spoke to every person who would talk to me. I gave everyone a chance. I said, if you have evidence of anything, bring it to me. I am a very fair person. I am more than willing to let you guys share evidence. And if it supports Tim's stories, I am willing to show it to the audience. I didn't set out at all, not even a little bit, to be like, oh, give me things that are going to prove he's lying. I said the same thing to every person I talked to. And I think I think his former boss is going to come on this at some point, and we'll do a Q&A with people, and you guys will get to hear directly from him. I think that, one, it can't be overstated how angry some of the people on the Firebase Anaconda mission are. They are very angry at the stories. They're very angry at the story about the 11-year-old that he told on Sean Ryan. They're very angry at this claim that he unalived women and children. They're very angry about the sniper tower story with Mike Coble. They're very angry about the story about using thermal to shoot people who might not have been actively fighting, which he's changed that story a couple of times. I will tell you as well, I've reached out to the military again. I am trying to get an on-the-record statement. I think there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Out of respect for that, I don't really want to get into that because that is a very serious situation. I will tell you that this full investigation is going to shock people. The things that we got on the record from multiple witnesses about what actually happened and his claims about what happened, you are going to realize very quickly could not be further from the truth. I also have let me see if I can find one of the photos. So I need to be very careful here because there are photos and faces of people who are not public. And I just want to make sure. So let me see if I can. Let me just make sure. I want to see if I can find a photo here. Come on, where is it? All right. So this one might be fine to share here. Let me open this and just make sure no one's faces are in it. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to screenshot this. And I can show this. So this is important because I think you guys, no one has seen this as far as I know. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Do you all see that? That is, hold on. Someone's saying I got to check my messages. Let me see about that. Just make sure I'm not missing something. Something that would be very relevant. All right, hold on. Okay, so Sergeant Will, this guy sent me a message about what had happened, and he is saying, well, Sergeant Will, do you mind if I read? Put it in the comments. I'm paying attention. Do you mind if I read the message you sent on air here? I don't want to read it if you don't want it read on air, so I'm not going to read it yet. But if you don't mind, I will read the message you sent me, if you don't mind. But I'll wait for you to respond because I don't want to do it if you're not okay with it. So what you're looking at here, that right there is the Humvee from the operation that hit an IED. Now, what you're going to notice here is that it's not engulfed in flames. It's not people burning everywhere. None of that. If you look at the front of the screen, you'll notice the hood of the vehicle is gone. That was what was taken off the vehicle. Why is this important? I would encourage you to go read and see Tim's interviews about this IED and compare and contrast what he has said to the photographic evidence of the picture. So I probably shouldn't leave that up too long, but that is that. Let me make sure that was there. I didn't see that. No, there's nothing in that photo that is there's no humans in that photo. I checked it. What you're looking at there is the chair looks like it's been bent. Almost gave me a heart attack there for a second. All right. I'm waiting to see if he has responded yet about if I can read his message or not, because I don't want to read it. But we've got a super chat here. Lawrence St. Dominic, again, another $4.99. Take another sip. Do you ever feel bewildered by someone like Tim who has multiple legit combat deployments but still feels the need to lie? Well, Tim is on record is saying he did 20 combat deployments. That is in that hook and barrel interview, I believe. Don't worry, we've got that. We've got that for sure. And yes, that's a great question. Do I feel bewildered by someone like Tim who has multiple legit combat deployments but still feels the need to lie? He went to Iraq and Afghanistan, legit deployments. Now, what he was doing on those deployments might not have been, it wasn't what Delta Force was doing. It wasn't what ODAs were doing. And he still went, though. He still signed up. He still went. Even if he didn't see a lot of action, he still went. I don't know why he did this to himself. I do not understand it. I do not know why Tim felt the need to create the situation he is in now. It makes no sense to me. It was completely unnecessary. He was a UFC fighter. He was a Green Beret. And for whatever reason, he decided, I'm just going to make things up because I guess he felt his career wasn't good enough. It's wild to me. Okay. Sergeant Will says that I can read his comment. It goes directly to the Crow system being used to snipe people. This is what he said. I'll read it off my phone to y'all. In response to the latest video, should Ryan and Rogan take the vids down, which they haven't, Task Force Bulldog, my task force while deployed with 25IN 3/1 BDE, gave the following order. Under no circumstances will any Crow LARS crew use their system to take pop shots at downed forces. They may be used to close in on and capture provide aid only in accordance with the rules of engagement in the Geneva Convention. And the Geneva Convention, you are only allowed to fire on active threats. Tim didn't do the sniping with the help of a Crow operator. That order was given after a 15-6 investigation I was involved in. One of the Crow operators was accused of firing a round from a 50 cal at a dead MAM. I had to inspect the system and interview one of my teammates. I was able to get him cleared of the charges. So there you go. There you go. That he says right there, there were strict orders given that under, I don't know what that's about, but holy someone's a little fired up. Someone's very fired up. So there he is. He's saying that under no situations would a Crow system ever have been used to engage targets in a situation like that, which I will tell you, every teammate I spoke to on the record, I had to conceal the names of a couple of people due to their current jobs, and I'm not going to blow security or someone who's working in a capacity where they can't be public, but many of them went on the record with their names, said no such event ever happened. No such event ever occurred. And you know what? Actually, let me see if I have the notes. Okay, here we go. This is a quote from a teammate whose name cannot be revealed. I'm going to read it to you on the air now. This will be in the full investigation. This will be in the full investigation. This comes from one of Tim's teammates, and he says, again, his name cannot be used. This is a specific response into the idea that Tim was using a Crow system to hit people who might not have been actively engaged in fighting, possibly wounded, which, of course, his former attorney says did happen, but he was ordered to do it. That statement from his former attorney, I can tell you, has caught the attention of people in the United States military in a way they probably weren't anticipating, and it is going to be looked into, is my understanding. I'm going to read this. Keep sending your questions. Keep sending your chats. I love answering them. I'm going to answer as many as I can. We got a few more things to go through. His teammate, whose name will not be revealed, says, absolutely not. And Tim ought to thank Travis for the rest of his fucking life that he came out and said that never happened. If Tim did, Travis was the ground force commander. If Tim did that, or anybody believes he did that, it's a war crime. If you do that and you don't have the last name Kennedy, you're going to have hellfire and brimstone come down from everybody. It didn't happen. Tim sure as fuck wasn't shooting people who were wounded. None of that happened, I assure you. So that's about as direct as you can get to say, no, this story is BS. He never shot these people. It is a complete lie. It is a complete lie. And he's got some other quotes in there as well about whatever happened. Says he absolutely never shot a kid, just ran off and did whatever he wanted. That he's doing a disservice to the special forces when he talks like that. No Iranians. So again, this will all be in the official report. This will all be in the final product. You guys say, I have done more research for this story than I have ever done in my life for any story ever. I've talked to more sources. I've done more fact checking. I've done more turning over stones, trying to get to answers. And it turns out that when you write a book and you do tons of podcasts and you do tons of interviews and you say things your teammates don't just find to be incredibly false, but downright insulting, they're more than eager to talk about it. They're more than eager to go out and make their voices heard. So also, did we all see this Tim Kennedy clip? This is a great one. Let me go ahead and throw this up on the screen for you. Here's another doozy. Oh, got to get it up. Almost didn't get up.
My occupation, that's complicated.
No, it's not. No, it's not complicated, Tim. You were a Green Beret who did a couple legitimate deployments and you fought in the UFC. What is complicated about that? But of course, he's got to make himself look bigger than he is.
That means he's going to go and drive down the street and throw more acid on little girls. Yeah, I've been there. I murdered that motherfucker. Because we don't let that happen, not in our world. All of those little decisions lead up to that moment where you're going to live or die.
Name is Tim.
Sure you did. Sure you did, Tim. Let me see if I can actually find I want to see if I can find this because it goes directly against the Humvee photo that I just showed you. And I might be able to find it now. Let me see if I can. Give me a second. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but now I feel like I kind of have to. Oops. Ronnie. Nope, wrong interview. Give me a second. I'm working it. All right, it's here. All right, let me see if it's here so I get the exact timestamp. This is another Tim doozy that we now have photographic evidence of. Where is... Hold on. I'm trying to find where he... Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's watch this. Let's watch this. So you guys all just saw the Humvee photo. You saw the photo I shared. You saw what it looked like. The hood had been blown off. That was the damage. Now, people inside they did lose their lives. That is true. But watch the way he tells the story and then look at the photo you all just saw.
And then it's super not cool when you don't really have a team. The bomb goes off, IED explodes, vehicle in front of you just vaporizes, killing almost.
All right. The vehicle vaporizes. You all, I just showed you photographic proof of the vehicle in question. I put a photo of it on the screen for you all. I want you to let me know in the chat right now. Did the photo I show of the Humvee look like it had been vaporized? Did it look like it had been vaporized, or was the hood blown off and it had flipped upside down? Still really bad. I'm not sitting here saying that's not bad. That's really bad. It was tragic. It was terrible. Not at all the story Tim's telling. But hold on. This story gets even better because somewhere in here, he talks about how he runs out of ammo while fighting 400 Iranians.
Life
in this particular battle.
Yeah. Mike Goebel saved my life. I mean, one instance, I had like divine intervention.
Is this where you run out of ammo?
Oh, yeah, that happens.
But you run out of ammo within like 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Like when you think that like a special forces detachment could run out of ammo, like how is this possible? Like be surrounded by 400 Iranian freedom fighters, foreign fighters, and
guys, he is on a resupply convoy. He is on a resupply convoy. They have more ammo than they could ever shoot. And he claims that he ran out of ammo in a matter of minutes. Does anyone believe that? The story is going to get even better, though.
The antithesis of freedom.
Yes.
Pricks. Anyways, so they're kicking our ass. I'm like crawling on the ground, eventually trying to find ammo. But Mike Keller.
Now he's crawling on the ground. He's crawling on the ground to find ammunition. He's ran out of all of his bullets to the point that 400 Iranians are overrunning him. He's crawling around on the ground to find ammunition. Really, really.
When the vehicle in front of me explodes and pink mist everywhere, Humvee lands on top of my Humvee. My Humvee starts backing out to get away from this Humvee as like RPGs are skipping off of my hood, and rounds are like ping, 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 ping in the side of this Humvee as PKM rounds are just like ting, 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 ting. Mike Keller gets up to the side of this hill. Mike Irish, who is driving, he's like, oh my God, those guys are still alive. So he like hops out of the vehicle and I was like, Mike, where are you going? So he runs back down to where we just got blown up. So I hop out of the vehicle very begrudgingly. Is Mike Keller in the 50 cal M2 machine gun turret position? This is God. Like, I don't care what you believe. There's only one way that you can describe how Mike was able to use a machine gun with a 50 caliber machine gun and shoot rounds around Mike and I and vaporize this assault line. They just, like, there were people there. This isn't like movie like Rambo and they're like, you see guts flying through the air. It was like there were people right here, and then there were no more people. Like, they just disappeared. Not like pink mist and like an HBO movie.
Timmy, Tall Tales Timmy striking again. Does anyone believe any of this? Does anybody believe any of these stories? Does one person believe it? I don't believe it. His teammates don't believe it, and they were there. So, the crazy thing is, if Tim Kennedy had just wanted to make up fictional stories and like write a book series, Jack Carr, legitimate Navy SEAL, did actual deployments. Jack Carr's a legit guy, but what did he do? He didn't write books about himself. He made up a fake storyline that is now an Amazon TV series. I got some of the books right here. I don't know if you can see them right there. He could have been great. Tim Kennedy could have been one of the greatest storytellers ever. The problem is he picked a real story with real people that actually happened. And that makes it very easy for people to fact check everything he's saying. So, I mean, it's a shame. He could have been like Jack Carr. He could have been a world-renowned author telling fictional stories that would have been epic. Because if these stories were in a book and we all knew they were fake, but they were for a story, people would love them. Instead, he took a real event, made it about himself, and just seemingly, according to all his teammates, just made it all up. It's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Keep sending your chats in. Get super chats if you can. Always appreciate them. They do not go unnoticed. All super chats are guaranteed to be read. We got 2 topics left, so get them in quick. We've got some Rob O'Neill drama. Rob O'Neill is back to being Rob. I think as Brent likes to call him, Showtime Rob. And then I will tell you the story of my situation at a grocery store in DC today, where I could not believe what happened what happened with me at a store. Let's just say some security guards, armed security was involved, and I am not happy about it. I told Safeway I was going to publicly talk about this. I literally said, when I told them, I was like, I will be talking about this. I will be talking about this publicly, and everyone's going to know what happened. But first, before we get into that, and you guys won't believe what happened. Before we get into that, our good friend Rob, we all know Rob O'Neill. We all know Rob. So I have to hide the chat for a quick second. So he says, I have a former ST6 dude whom I didn't pick for the UBL raid, and he's mad at me. He wasn't good enough. I'm like, shit, bro. You should have gone to Delta and started a YouTube channel. You may have been worth his shit there. Okay, he's clearly talking shit about the Anti-Hero podcast, and he's talking shit about Brent Tucker. That ain't going to be allowed to fly. The Anti-Hero podcast is great, number one. Number two, they're the ones who had the balls to kick down the door on the Tim Kennedy fiasco, and they have a great episode about Rob's version of events with the Osama bin Laden raid. And I don't know how anyone could watch that episode or talk to anyone else who was on the mission and believe that Rob found himself in a one-on-one standoff with the most wanted man on the planet. In order to believe that, you have to believe that everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. So you have to believe SEAL Team 6, in their shining moment, seemingly forgot all their training and just abandoned their responsibilities. That's what you have to believe. Do you believe that? Someone's saying Rob who? Rob O'Neill, the guy who says he killed Osama bin Laden. I don't know if you guys believe that. Does anyone believe that? Who do you guys actually think? Who do you guys actually think killed Osama bin Laden? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me who you think actually did it, and I'll throw up some on the screen. So then he follows that up with, if your job is to sit around taking screenshots of posts, you should invest in a girlfriend or something. That was directed at me. That was directed at me. Now Rob's calling me out. Of course, he did that previously and then deleted the tweet. Now he's doing it, but he won't even tag me in it. Rob, have the guts to tag me. First off, I do have a significant other. I do have a fiance, and we know this because I've talked about her at length. She's been in the chat before. So I don't know what world you're living in. Would everyone like to see a photo of me and my fiance at the White House Christmas party? Anyone? I'll throw it up on the screen if you want. I got to get some of these tabs closed. You know what? Let's put it up on the screen. Where is it? Oops, got to remove it. Still learning the system, guys. Nope, that's not what I want. There you go. There's my fiance, Rob. Have I invested enough in a woman yet? Have I invested enough in apparently the gentler kind? Because Rob seems to think that if you question his stories or point out obvious gaping holes that no one can explain, that apparently women don't talk to you. Maybe. I guess that's just not the case for me. I don't really know. It's very weird. It's a very, 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 very strange very strange behavior. Give me a second. All right, let's not insult Rob's wife. We're not going to sink to that level. All right, last topic of the show. It is my incident at Safeway with their security. So if you have it, and then I'll do a couple quick questions at the end. Send in all your super chats now. We'll get to them. We'll get to any questions you guys have. I'm trying my best here. Okay, this is what happened. I went to Safeway today to get some coffee. I got 3 like cold brew containers of coffee. The brand is spelled STOK. I believe it's called Stock. And it's a pretty straightforward grocery store. It's a Safeway. The Safeway, you got to understand the layout of it. So you walk in through a door, there's a security guard there. You walk past that, you walk around, you do all your shopping. Then where the registers are, there is 2 like glass doors. In order to get the glass doors to open, you have to scan your receipt. When you scan your receipt, the glass doors open, right? Then you can walk on out. So I got my headphones in. I'm just going about my day. I don't have a care in the world. I pay for the coffee. Every jug was $6, $18. I think it was actually $17.97. They were each $5.99. As I scan my receipt, remember, I can't even leave through these glass doors without scanning a receipt. I scan my receipt. I start walking. And, well, the sad thing is, someone's saying when grocery stores have armed security, it's time to move. That isn't normal most places. 100% true. It's very normal in Washington, D.C. Every grocery store you go in Washington, D.C. has security guards or uniformed cops. This city's a hellhole. It's crime-ridden. It's run by the biggest idiots on the planet. It is a shame what has happened to our nation's capital. There's no question about it. So anyways, I walk out and I see one security guard. Now, these guys are armed. That's an important detail. I start walking out and I can see one guy going to cut me off. I turn around thinking they must be looking for someone else. I don't know if you can see what I look like. If you had to do a crime profile of people who rob grocery stores in Washington, D.C., based on statistics, I'm not sure a 6-foot-tall Wisconsin native wearing a T-shirt at the time and athletic shorts fits the profile. But you guys can look up, the information for yourself. I see one security guard coming around. I look back, and I see another security guard closing behind me. And I'm thinking, you got to be effing kidding me. They just think I robbed this place. Guy comes up to me. Again, armed security. Guy comes up to me and makes some comment about what I had on me, what was in my backpack. They wanted to see it. They want to know if I'd pay for it. They want to know if I'd stolen it. They want to know where the receipt was. I actually, funny enough, I dumped the receipt in a trash can between the glass doors and the actual exit point. So I didn't have it, but I had my credit card statement on my phone, so I wasn't worried. There's some words exchanged. I'm not going to get into that now because I'm waiting for Safeway to get on the phone with me and explain. Here's what I want you guys to think about. These guys were not police officers. They're security guards. They're not Washington, D.C. cops. They're not the Secret Service. They're not Capitol Police. They're security guards carrying what I think were 38 revolvers. Don't know about that, but that's what I think they had. They see me, and all of a sudden they found the one guy in the store they actually want to stop for stealing. I see people everywhere steal from that store. They don't get stopped ever. They want to stop me. And I am about ready to go through the roof. Here's the insane part about this to me. Who the hell do you think you are to walk up to me armed and issue an order or ask a direction of me? I'm a citizen of the United States. You're not a cop. You have no real power. You play dress up. And look, I'm not dunking on anyone that works security. I'm not dunking on anyone. It's serious work. Anything you can do to pay your bills, you should do. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not. I'm simply pointing out that the local Safeway grocery store security are not uniformed police officers. They're not coming when you dial 911. You come up to me and you have a gun. You better be damn ready to use it. There better be an immediate emergency ongoing. Otherwise, unless you're a uniformed cop, you have no business coming near me. You've got no business walking within 10 feet of me. Damn sure if you've got a weapon. I grew up with weapons my whole life. I've been able to carry a weapon my entire adult life. I train with weapons, although not as often as I used to. Here's a little bit of friendly advice for everyone watching. You don't know who other people are. I'm a normal person. I'm a disciplined person. I don't do stupid things. I don't escalate. I look to de-escalate, because one of the things they train you when you carry a gun for a living is you should always, always have a chill profile. You want to de-escalate. Now, to be clear, these guys never pulled their weapons. I'm not saying that, but they had them. At least one of them, I believe. You got to be out of your effing mind to walk up to someone you don't know who's minding their own business and accuse them of stealing. When it's on video, there's cameras pointed at the register. How dumb are you? I literally couldn't leave the register area until I scanned my receipt. You dipshits. Did they think I hopped the glass? I mean, what world are we living in? Quite frankly, what if I had been a crazy person? What if I had been an insane person? Fortunately, I am not. I paused because I saw a comment. It was insane to me. It was absolutely insane to me. The balls for these guys to walk up to me with no evidence, key point, no evidence, and accuse me of stealing and demand to search my shit is insane. I also felt like at one point I was in a situation where, well, I don't want to say that because I'll wait until I talk to Safeway. It's absolutely nuts. I did nothing wrong. I paid, scanned my receipt to have the doors open, which don't open without a receipt, and was leaving when two guys who thought they were Rambo at the local Safeway wanted to be heroes. For what reason? What was the evidence? They didn't come up to me and say, we have evidence of you stealing. They didn't say we saw you on video stealing. They didn't say we saw someone tell us you stole. They just flat out accused me and wanted to check my shit out. 1,000% unacceptable. Your little 6-shooters might impress other people. They don't impress me. And I would love to know what level of training these two guys had. I'm guessing somewhere between 0 and very little that would justify them to handle that situation that way. Again, I've had guns my whole life. I would never, ever, ever walk up to someone who had done nothing wrong and accuse them of a crime. And furthermore, I would be curious what the legality of it is, because you have no evidence. I didn't do anything wrong. I was 100% innocent. What's the legality of trying to stop me from leaving, getting in my way, pulling me aside, demanding to search my stuff? You're not police officers. You're not DC cops. I'm not calling you when I need 911. I'm calling actual police officers, which you are not. So, quite frankly, it was appalling. It was not embarrassing for me. I mean, I was ready to, I should have just started roasting these two. It's embarrassing for them that they looked at a guy doing nothing wrong, who's on camera, right? I'm on camera everywhere. And they want to come up and accuse me of a crime. You want to accuse me of a crime? You better have overwhelming evidence. There better be no doubt in your mind I've committed a crime, especially if you're going to approach me while armed. The only people who should be coming up to me in a official capacity carrying guns are cops. If you're not a uniformed police officer, don't walk anywhere near anybody and try to pull that. Unbelievably unacceptable. Unbelievably unacceptable. I will be talking with Safeway because let's be honest, the guns change everything. And I'm not an anti-gun guy at all. I love guns. I believe in concealed carry. But you know what I don't do when I have a gun on me? I don't walk up to other people and accuse them of crimes without evidence. End of story. So yeah, anyways, it was nuts. It was crazy. I was beyond not happy about it. Just absolutely unacceptable on so many different levels. Now, some of you might be like, why are you shocked that they would accuse you of stealing or believe you stole? I go in there all the time. It's my local grocery store. I go in there all the time. And they see me all the time. And I've never had an issue for 5 years? And then today, two people who decided that they were going to be, they were going to be inspectors. They were going to be, I guess, great detectives. I don't know. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was nuts. It was beyond pathetic. I mean, yeah, well, no, I'm not going to read that. There's a good comment. So listen, I'm not that fired up about it. Pretty annoyed, I would say. I want an answer from someone from Safeway why two security guards who I'm sure couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in the event of an active shooter situation are coming up to me demanding to check my stuff out, either directly or implying I stole something, demanding to see stuff. No. I don't ever expect that to happen again. So now the theory is they might have known me. Well, that makes it even worse. If they knew who I was and chose to do that, that's not a defense. That makes the situation way worse because now you're profiling. So absolutely insane. And I will be speaking with him. I expect a formal apology. And if I don't get it, I'll just continue to rip them for what the insane. I mean, train your security guards, train your managers to do their job. Someone says the solution is not live or shop in areas where grocery stores have armed security. That's the whole city of DC. I hate to tell you, it's the whole city of DC. There's nowhere you can go where you don't have to deal with that. Now, granted, I've been here for a decade, and that's the first time I've ever been essentially stopped and falsely accused of a crime. Absolute nonsense. All right, let's get a couple questions in. I'll answer some questions for anyone who has them, and then I'm out of here soon. I'll take a couple questions, and then I'm off to bed. What do we got? Assault Avocado says, David, you'll get an apology, but it won't be anything other than a sorry about that. Well, I hope it's more than that. I hope it's more than that. When are you going on the Anti-Hero podcast? I'm not going on the Anti-Hero podcast. I would go in a heartbeat if they invited me. I love those guys. I think they're doing great work, but haven't been invited yet. I have interviewed Brent before. They are great. I love those guys. They're absolutely epic. Haven't been invited. Would go in a heartbeat without a doubt. Well, he said, yeah, probably recognized me. I mean, I don't know if that's true. If it is true, then the conversation we're going to have, after that is going to be escalated because that just only makes it much worse. I addressed this earlier in the show. I think next Tuesday. I think next Tuesday, if it's not published by then, I think I might just read it anyways. We'll see. I think next Tuesday will likely be when it comes out. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to give this guy. So there is someone, I don't want to put the comment on the screen because it names the guy. There was someone who released a video yesterday or the day before. I'm sure none of you saw it because it didn't get that many views. And in the video, first off, there was a lot of things that were said that were just incorrect. They claimed I'd been fired from my own podcast. How do you get fired from your own podcast? Did I fire myself? Like, it's my YouTube channel. How do you get fired from your own YouTube channel that you own? Doesn't even make sense. So I'm sure some of you saw a video about me. I'm sure that maybe you watched it, maybe you didn't. Like I said, I don't think many people watched it or saw it. There was a claim in there that I got fired. I have no idea what that guy's talking about. I'm sitting here talking to you all right now. Does it look like I've been fired? Is the live stream not working? I heard TK fired it. TK has no control over my life. None whatsoever. No, I was never fired. I've never been fired from a job other than I was briefly fired for about 30 minutes from my dad's vet clinic. I was fired for about 30 minutes when I was a teenager for getting in trouble. My mom came down and then I was quickly rehired. So I was fired for a total of 30 minutes. And that is the only time I've ever been fired in my life. So does that even count? I don't know. Does that count? Yeah. Did the bosses not tell me something? The only one who can fire me from doing my YouTube channel is me. And seeing as how I'm sitting here talking to you right now, I'm fairly confident I didn't fire myself. So no, I don't know where he came up with that. He claims someone told him that. Could have reached out and asked. Could have literally sent me a DM on Instagram and asked. And he didn't. So I don't know what the hell that guy was talking about. Clown behavior. But at this point, people do anything to drag themselves into my situations to get views. And that is what it is. All right. I think I'm going to head out, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who sent a super chat tonight. Means a lot. Every dollar you send, we're going to try to add stuff, bring people in, interview more guests. And we should have, we'll see. My AC is fixed. I see some comments about that. That is true. My AC is fixed. But anyways, guys, it's been a great stream. I love doing these. We're going to keep doing them on Tuesdays. I'll see you all next time. If you got any last minute super chats, now is definitely the time to send them. Otherwise, this has been yet again another very fun chat. I will catch you all later. And I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I'm having a blast. And we'll see you all next time around. Take it easy. Enjoy yourself.